Hey y'all. Had an interesting run today. I had a really big insight that I needed to come on and talk about my daddy issues. um, yeah, not specifically that I have them. I love my dad, but the daddy girl issues archetype that I have lived pretty cut and paste in my life. So if you're a woman that has lived this archetype, listen up. I might have some information that is pertinent for you. Yeah, so while I was on my run today, I was just thinking about like my life and how I lived a very promiscuous life when I was younger. Loved to just, roll in the hay with whoever was around. And it caused me a lot of pain. And I don't think it's natural for a young woman to do that. And yeah, I think it's because my parents were very liberal and cool about that kind of stuff and basically encouraged me to sleep around. They were like, you need to like find what you like before you settle down. And, whatever. I'm grateful for that. I am who I am. It all turned out okay. But I think a lot of pain could have been avoided if basically I had a father that provided more structure and boundaries, which are very masculine characteristics. And I'm realizing now that my father is more of a passive, go with the flow man. And to all the people who are in my community who know my parents, I'm never going to say I'm blaming my parents for who I am. I love them very much. But I think it's very important for me to talk about these things and the imperfections of my parents so that our generation can get better at being parents and not pass on this trauma anymore, so we can stop passing on this trauma. So keep that in mind. My dad was a counselor. He went to school for psychology and raised me with all these principles of nonviolent communication and saying I statements and arguments and all of that stuff. And I've learned a lot from him. Obviously, I'm a healer too. I'm in this space. But what I'm realizing is that he was so passive, non-dominant, and a little bit emasculated by the relationship with my mom. And again, there's no blaming here. There's just what I notice happening and the consequences that I see showing up in my life. And so what I saw happening with my parents is that my dad had to learn how to navigate his trauma of his early family life. He didn't have a father either, and the masculine men in his life were assholes. So he learned to heal himself by going into therapy, doing all the things, becoming a counselor so he could help other people. And he, instead of handling conflict in a way that emotionally regulated people handle conflict, he just decided to handle it by either avoiding it or making sure the person who was starting the conflict felt safe and comfortable, and kind of passing on his boundaries that he had. And I watched this play out with my mom, and my mom would just kind of bulldoze him. And it was really sad to see, and I saw her disrespect him a lot. And I think, to be quite honest, this is why I've been in 3 abusive / controlling relationships, because I subtly was disrespecting my partners, without knowing it. Like, I'm not trying to be an asshole, but the way my communication was set them off, and obviously their reactions were not right or okay either, but I'm just giving you the bigger picture of how I see everything working out now. And if you're a woman who has daddy issues, it's possible for your dad to be in your life and you to be questioning, why am I sleeping with all these people? Why didn't I have somebody that was there to guide me and give me boundaries and say, hey, no, this behavior is not okay and you need to stop. And I'm realizing that I just disregarded like all of my father's advice because that's what I saw my mom do. And yeah, it's so interesting to see that now. Like, even though I have my dad in my life, even though my dad is an amazing person, has taught me so much about life and is a very nurturing force in my life, I still lived the daddy issues archetype because of his pacificity around maintaining boundaries, around letting other women bulldoze him because of his trauma growing up not having a dad, right? And it's interesting. Now you can see the full loop of why everything is the way it is. I wouldn't change it for the world. I love my dad. I love who he is. I'm grateful that he went through his trauma, that he could be the person he is, and now it's my turn to buck up and heal my trauma so I don't pass it down to my daughter, and we can all live a much fucking happier life. So, what can you do if you're a woman who has the daddy issues archetype? What's really helping me, what's working for me, is to start to notice all the ways that I'm being subtly manipulative and controlling and disrespectful to the men in my life, and stop, right? I mean, I noticed maybe even up to 2 years ago how I was just, like, things would come out of my mouth towards my dad that I would hear my mom say, and it would come out of my mouth and I would say, damn, like, that didn't feel right. Like, I don't want to say that. That feels really disrespectful. And I just started noticing that, and I would say sorry after. I'm sorry, I don't know where that's coming from, and just realize that I don't want to be that person anymore. And just when I was feeling upset about something, verbalize that, but say I'm grateful for these other things. So it starts with us first. The healing starts with us noticing all the characteristics we have, all the processes we have that aren't good and we want to change, and start changing them. Like, when you notice you're doing something wrong and it's hurting other people, apologize, say sorry, I'm working on it. Pretty rudimentary stuff. The other thing that I've been doing that's been helping me a lot is surrounding myself with men who know that I'm on a healing journey and that I have wounds around the masculine, and who are in integrity, but also alpha and more dominant personality, and hold boundaries with me, because that has been something that I am super uncomfortable with. A man who is in integrity with his heart, who is not going to dominate or control me, but will speak up when I have crossed his boundaries and let me know in a loving way. This has been so huge and so different for me to experience and be around. Because I'm used to, I guess, bulldozing the men in my life, right? I'm used to just, what I saw was just say whatever the fuck you want to them and they'll stick around, right? And it's not true. It's really uncomfortable. Like, this is the most uncomfortable thing that I've ever done in my life, is to be around men who are dominant and will let you know when you've done something wrong or when you've hurt their feelings, and will say it to you in a respectful way. Like, I didn't know how to handle that or react to that because I'm used to people just telling me to fuck off when I've done something wrong, right? So yeah, it's been really helpful for me. So there are coaches and stuff that help you with this, but I think there are also just kind masculine men out there who are aware of what their boundaries are, what they will and will not tolerate, and I bet they're in your friend group. And yeah, if this resonates with you, just speak up. Talk to somebody in the community about it. Show this video to a friend or a family member and talk to them. See what sounds right for you. Okay, what else do I want to give you? If you are a woman healing from the daddy issues archetype, yeah, I would say look into polarity. It's helped me so much. There are groups on Facebook for it. Masculine, feminine polarity. This learning about these principles and myself and the archetypes that I've lived in this way has helped me so much to bring honor to myself, my true desires, wants, and needs, and call in a partner who is way more aligned with those, instead of just going through life and floundering and figuring shit out trial by error, you know. I've done that for most of my life, and I am over it. And I want to learn exactly what I need to do to call in the right partner that is right for me. So yeah, learning about yourself, you know, healing the things you need to heal to call in the right partner. Sounds pretty good to me. Hope this video finds you in good health, in good harmony. I hope you keep doing personal development, keep learning about yourself. Thank you for coming here. Thank you for listening. Have a beautiful day.